My name is Lisa Wiggins, and this is for BUSM 261, the final video. Managing is getting others to achieve the goals of the business. The most important roles a manager has are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Managers plan by setting goals for the business and implementing the steps necessary for achieving these goals. Managers organize by deciding who will perform each task necessary to meet the goals set. Managers lead by influencing and inspiring employees to achieve the goals of the business. Managers control by observing and keeping track of employees' performance in achieving goals and by setting corrective actions when employee performance falls below standards for goal achievement. Change can have a positive or negative impact on a business. There are changes outside of the company that occur in the external environment, which are events and occurrences that happen outside a company that may affect the business, and changes that occur within the company, the internal environment that impact a business. A perfect example of changes in the external environment are COVID-19. This had a worldwide impact, and multiple businesses had to close their businesses because they were forced to shut down for a certain amount of time. And an example of an internal environment change is a software update. Employees may or may not be receptive to the software update. The software may or may not be user-friendly. Regardless, this will impact the internal environment of the business. Environmental change is how rapidly the general and specific environments of a business change. General environments are political and legal areas, the economy, technology, and society. Specific environments are unique to the company's industry and can affect the business. In a stable environment, the rate of environmental change is slow. Our textbook gave a perfect example of a funeral home having a slow environmental rate of change where not much changes in the funeral home industry. However, in a dynamic environment, changes occur rapidly. Perfect example of dynamic change is the cell phone and personal computer industry. The complexity of the external and internal the complexity of the external and internal environments impact change for business. Scarcity of resources play a role in change. You have to make changes if resources are not available or are scarce. The economy and technology all impact businesses. The political arena and changes in laws that are passed impact how businesses operate. How fierce competition is will affect a business and can effect change. This directly influences the pricing of items that are for sale. Customer satisfaction or dissatisfaction with the product of a business will have an effect on a business also. It's whether or not they're going to go to that business. Ethics is the moral compass that guides the behavior of a group or a person, a group of people or a person. It is extremely important. Ethics are extremely important because it determines what is considered right or wrong for the individual or a group. It literally determines what behavior is acceptable. Having a strong moral code is beneficial to a business as it can prevent theft of property, theft of time, theft of valuable resources, such as how hard someone works. Workplace deviance violates the ethics established for the business. There are 4 types of workplace deviance that occur. The first one, production deviance, which is when an employee leaves early from work, takes excessive breaks, and works slowly on purpose. The second one is political deviance, which is gossiping about coworkers, showing favoritism, and blaming others for your mistakes. The third one is property deviance, which is stealing from the company, vandalizing company property, and lying about hours worked. The fourth type of workplace deviance is personal aggression, which is sexual harassment, verbal abuse, and endangering coworkers. A strategy to encourage ethical behavior by employees is to create a code of conduct for employees to abide by. This is a code that states what behavior is acceptable and what behavior is not acceptable. The code of conduct can be very specific, such as an example of a very specific code of conduct is stealing by employees will result in immediate termination. Have the employees read the code of conduct upon date of hire, have them sign it and date it, and then put where they signed and dated it in the employee's personnel file. I would require each employee to read the code of conduct quarterly, and I would require they initial it and date it and keep it in their file. And during this course, I learned how to use Microsoft programs through our assignments. Our final exam project required students to utilize a formal memo format. I thoroughly enjoyed researching memo formats and ideas to further team building for our future students of this class. I learned to use programs I hadn't used before, such as OneDrive and OneNote. OneNote is a digital note-keeping app. You can keep all of your notes for school, personal uses, and work in one place, and you don't have to worry about running out of paper or having the space for your notes. And then OneDrive allows you to create and edit files on your computer while saving all of your changes. I learned additional skills for Microsoft Outlook, which enhanced my ability to use email at school and at home. Email is an important function for running a business, so it's important to know how it works and all of its features. All of these applications increase efficiency when running a business. Excel is a tool used for budgeting and financial information for businesses. PowerPoint is a program used to make presentations. You can use themes to help organize the material you wish to present and have a professional look while doing so. Communication is how information is transmitted from one person or place to another person or place. Formal communication involves the official channels that carry approved messages, usually from bosses to subordinates, and this is top-down communication. Informal communication is also known as the grapevine. This is an exchange of information from employee to employee, which goes this way, and it's usually used to find out what's going on in the business. Informal communication, which is communication without words, it's body language. Communication includes paralanguage, which is pitch, rate, tone, volume, and speaking pattern of one's voice. Other modes of communication in the work environment include text messaging, email, group chats, and using Big Blue Button or Zoom. Each business has its own culture, which includes the values, beliefs, and attitudes of the employees working there. The culture of the business impacts all levels of the business. Sustainability for business culture can be achieved by having organizational heroes. Those are people that are admired for their qualities, traits, and work ethic. Organizational stories told by employees that make sense of changes and events that occurred within the company. And organizational ceremonies, which celebrate company successes and achievements. Businesses are strongly influenced by the external environment, which is what is happening outside of the business itself. The economy, which is part of the external environment, has a direct impact on a business. Economy is defined as the wealth and resources of a country or region, especially in terms of the production and consumption of goods and services. A business will thrive in an area with a good economy, and the business won't do quite as well in an area that has a bad economy. Economy is also defined as careful management of available resources, such as a business carefully managing the resources they have available to them. Economic responsibility is when a business produces a product or service that benefits society as a whole. Social responsibility is a business's obligation to pursue policies, decisions, and actions that benefit society. There are two viewpoints on to whom a business must be socially responsible. The first viewpoint is the shareholder model. This states a business's only responsibility is to maximize profits for the business itself. Primary concern, the business. The second is the stakeholder model. This states that the number one responsibility is the business survival, which is achieved by satisfying multiple stakeholders. Stakeholders are persons or groups with a legal interest in the company. Ethical responsibility is when a company has an appropriate moral compass to guide the behavior and decisions of the employees that work there. Setting a code of conduct to define acceptable and unacceptable behavior will help set a moral compass for employees to follow while doing business. Physical responsibility of a business is making sure the business environment is safe, such as good equipment, appropriate lighting, safety equipment, appropriate supplies, and providing a safe place for employees to work. Having safety procedures, such as a route to exit the building should a fire occur, also falls into this category. Political and legal responsibility is when a business takes care to follow the laws while conducting a business in a legal manner. It's important for businesses to set that example and following the law for the community as a whole. Team building can be created through having a clear mission statement, which is the reason why a company exists, setting clearly defined goals and outlining the steps to achieve them, having a positive work culture, and by management setting a good example for employees to follow. Creative problem solving would include having an if-then list for employees to follow, such as, if this happens, then do this. So let's say a customer comes in really upset to the business and they're verbally berating employees. You would look at that if-then list. And so if a customer comes in and they're yelling, then do this. And so employees can, and so you'll have a list that states the proper procedure stated in writing how the company wants that type of situation handled. Employees can track which problem-solving solutions worked and which ones didn't. Management can review this information and decide if changes need to be made. Having a policies and procedures manual in place where employees can access it also will help take care of these situations. Businesses should supply training for employees to provide appropriate information literacy skills. Businesses should supply training for all employees on all computer software programs that will be required to do their jobs. This can take place with on-the-job training, online training using games, role-playing, demonstrations, information searches by employees, and providing opportunities for employees to have hands-on practice. According to research, a combined teaching/training approach works best. Professional business conduct skills can be acquired through professional training in person and online, by upper management grooming the employees they wish to promote, schooling, reading books, and online literature. Employees reading the policy and procedures manual of the business helps also. I have found through my on-the-job experience that appropriate professional leadership can enhance employees' business conduct in a positive direction. Having good leadership is essential for this. According to the textbook, leadership is defined as being able to influence employees to achieve the goals of the company. Good leadership requires the ability to motivate employees to do what the leader wants. The term motivate is defined as being able to stimulate someone's interest in or enthusiasm for doing something. I believe a positive example to follow being set by those in leadership is essential in order for employees to be motivated. Employees need to see what behavior they need to emulate. Employees need to daily observe professional business conduct in order to learn what's expected. According to scientific research, the brain possesses mirror neurons, which means our brains react to watching behavior as if we ourselves are participating in it. Our brains literally respond to watching something as if we are actively participating in it. According to our textbook, employers can use equity theory to motivate employees to display appropriate conduct. Equity theory states that employees are motivated to perform appropriately at work when the employees believe they are being treated fairly. A second theory is expectancy theory, which states employees will be motivated to the extent they believe good behavior will lead to good production, which will then lead to a reward and attractive payoffs. If the employee doesn't feel they'll be rewarded for work, they're not as likely to work as hard or as well. Learning to use important programs such as Excel will help an employer and employees to analyze data information from various sources. Once formulas are input into the spreadsheet in Excel, it totals all of the balances for the user. This is a wonderful program that the user can customize for their business. You can use this program for business budgeting to keep track of inventory, bills, and your overall budget. Or you can use other programs such as QuickBooks. This too is a wonderful program for small businesses to use. Information that is useful can help guide a person's choices and behavior. I learned through this class that it is imperative to be able to analyze and interpret information accurately so you can run a successful business. It's important for a business to have software programs in place to be able to capture the financial data and any other pertinent data that you wish to keep track of. Those systems need to be set up so you can analyze the data once it's been tracked. The analysis of this information helps a business to make projections about its future, set goals, decide on funding, and determine which direction to proceed in for the business. Overall, I found this to be a really good course to take for anyone wanting to start and run their own business. There's a wealth of information that's covered throughout this course. The teams we were assigned to and the teamwork required to complete the projects was a really good experience. Each team was unique with unique individuals, so I learned something new each time. I learned to have enhanced communication skills, how to communicate with people from other countries, how to use Big Blue Button, and I accomplished tasks I just hadn't before. Overall, this class was a really good experience, giving me skills that I will take with me into the future. Thank you, Robin.